Thanksgiving begins a very special time of the year for us. It's the time of peace and reflection, and of getting ready for the new year. One thing we should all be thankful for is that we live in America, where we have the freedom to change things and the opportunity to...
Welcome to the Drunk Turkey Show, starring Big Blue.
Okay, can I say hi, Kim?
Hi. Oh, I love you. You are just like a giant.
Or improvisation.
Lady Liberty just squirted in my face. And when you do drink with a straw, the myth is you get more drunk because you get more air mixed in.
Hi, Maggie.
Like, you know how the fans going like this? It goes, ooh, yeah, when it hits my butthole. Last time I went to Mexico, I stopped by a little stand and the lady had gloves. I was like, lady, take off those gloves. I need that shit.
It wasn't.
I'm drinking beer so you can feel good and like it tastes good. What the hell's the point of this?
And Daniel J.
I got a friend named Jonathan Martinez who's not allowed in the library. Yo puede hablar español cuando yo te mando. You look very handsome tonight, LJ.
Every day, it's an everyday thing. I gotta
wake up. This is excellence.
Y'all watch them every Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays. I get to see them every day. I get to see that. I get to see those chicks every day. What's on his face?
And the other ones.
3000, it still sucks. This is Philip J. Fry, and you're listening to the Drunken Turkey Show. Your one stop for this sort of thing. Hit that button, like and subscribe. You know what to do, just like every other podcast.
What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the Drunk Turkey Show. I'm your host, Daniel J. Alongside with me, hi man, Big Blue. Hi man, how you doing tonight, buddy?
I'm hanging in there. I have a little headache going on, but you know, I'll survive.
You'll survive. Nothing that a little bit of Grandpa's old cough medicine can't fix, buddy.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Are you drinking tonight with us?
Oh yeah, I'm drinking a Dr. Pepper with some bird dog.
Nice. I love that cup you have in your hand there.
Thank you.
What does that say for the audience? And say it real slow.
Like, you want me to say it's sexy?
Do it, man. That's what they're here for.
I'm just gonna say it normally. It says Drunk Turkey Show.
Well, your voice is already sexy, so just saying it already just highlights it. Big Blue, how you doing tonight, man? You drinking with us?
Yes, sir. I got mine. I got a special concoction today. I got, you can't really see the label, but it's Big Blue soda. And I'm doing half soda, half rum, and a little bit of coca pineapple splash.
Nice.
Nice. And so, guys, we're supposed to have a guest on tonight, Lana from Truth and Transparency. Couldn't make it. She had to do a rain check, but it looks like we'll be doing that show probably Sunday, maybe Monday. So it will be happening. It's just, unfortunately, it's not going to happen tonight. I know everybody was in here excited. It literally just happened. She had an emergency with family emergency. And so our thoughts and hope everything is okay. And we'll see you on Sunday/Monday. But the show must go on.
Yeah,
and so, I hope everything's okay. Guys, I'm drinking some Dr. Pepper I found it, the Select Club Praline whiskey. I bought 2 of them because it's been out for a while, man. It's my favorite drink. I'm not sponsored yet. But I'm drinking it with a Dr. Pepper. And I went to Whataburger earlier, so I got it in a Whataburger cup, just in case people roll up, they don't know that I'm drinking.
Just in case Whataburger wants to sponsor us.
Yeah, them too, man. I know a way for well, let me know in the live chat. How many of you guys have eaten Whataburger? I know it's a Texas thing, and how many of you guys have visited and eaten? Put a 1 in the chat if you have. But yeah, I think everybody's okay with Lena. She just had something came up with a family member, and so she had to go take care of that situation. But yeah, she said we could redo this another time, but the show will go on. we'll talk about some other things. We're going to still talk about. Oh, let's see, a lot of ones. I like it. I like it.
A1 thick and hearty, buddies. That's mine.
Dude, when I was in high school, I don't know about that, man. It depends on how you make the Whataburger. So when I was in high school, I actually worked at a Whataburger, and when I left Whataburger, they had just given us like these uniforms or these shirts, right? And I had it maybe 2 or 3 days, and I don't think I even wore it to work yet, and so I accidentally kept it, and it was a maroon shirt, and it said A1 thick and hearty, baby, on the back of it. Man, I sported that at high school for like at least every other Friday. And then I think I started a trend because I started seeing people wearing their Wendy's shirts and their McDonald's shirt and, all this work stuff. And so it is what it is. Richard goes, God, I love if Whataburger sponsored me. Oh, wow. $10 super sticker. Thank you, Robin. We appreciate that.
Thank you.
And thank you, Upstate Housewife New York, for joining as well. I appreciate that. So today, let's kind of, let's go over and talk about Kohberger. There's been one article that was out here recently. It was from the Daily Mail. And it was referencing, and I believe the title was the Kohberger Walk, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they're talking about, and I'll bring it up right there. It says, could Bryan Kohberger walk free? Caitlin Becker reveals how evidence against a suspected actor could be used to acquit him of the incident, right? So it goes, the evidence stacking up against the suspected Idaho killer Bryan Kohberger may seem like a gift for prosecutors looking to convict him for the quadruple homicide of the 4 college students. A deep dive into the investigation, however, has uncovered several credible avenues for his defense team to explore to plant seeds of reasonable doubt in the minds of the jury, which may lead to a verdict of not guilty. So right there, first and foremost, before we go into this a little bit further, Jaime, we'll start off with you. What are your thoughts on the possibilities of him being not guilty? Do you think that there's some reasonable doubt there based on all the information that we know, or do you think it's pretty solid?
I believe, I'll tell you something. I'll tell you one thing. At first, I was a little like at 50-50. Right? But now it seems like it's like maybe like 70-30 that he could get off just on the fact that, on the fact that the way the evidence was brought up and obtained, you know what I mean? It's not as solid as I thought it was going to be.
Right.
Especially if there's no DNA.
Right. Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. What about you, Big Blue? What are your first thoughts based on this information, or just the thought that there could be evidence out there that could have him acquitted?
I mean, that's what it would have to be something really good, because I think the DNA is good enough to get him. I think the way he's been, I guess, his mannerism right now, like he enjoys watching himself on the TV, all the stuff that they talk about him, and he's on the news. So I think he's enjoying this.
He might be. That's very plausible. So this article says all it takes is one juror, and there's no doubt in my mind the defense is going to utilize that. Former federal prosecutor Niami Rahmi and forensic psychiatrist, Dr. Carol Lieberman also weighed in on the evidence collection. Kohberger's childhood and even his DNA found at the scene can be used to benefit the defense. So wait a minute. His DNA at the scene could be used to benefit his defense? How would that happen? How would his DNA at the scene benefit him? That doesn't make any sense. Do y'all have any ideas on how that would work, Jaime? I think you're frozen, Jaime. Big Blue, what do you think?
I mean, maybe if they try to match it and it doesn't match. That's the only thing, because they supposedly matched it to his dad, right? So,
well, they stated that the DNA that was left on the sheath was 90. Basically, it said that the the DNA that they got from his house was 99.99998% the father of the person that committed the crime. And so, I don't know, man. I think that's pretty weird. So it says Bryan Kohberger is a petri dish of psychopathology. A defense psychiatrist would have a lot to work with. Kohberger's lawyers may have already scored a big win regarding the investigation. Prosecutors recently disclosed in court documents that police officers involved in the quadruple murder case is subject of an internal affairs investigation probe. Any alleged impropriety, I can't say that, on the part of the investigators could be threatened at the trial. There's going to be factual roadblocks and legal hurdles. So when it comes to that Brady versus Giglio, right? And they talk about Officer Nunez, and they talk about Officer Gunnerman, that basically they had lied under oath referencing a sticker case that had occurred earlier, back in maybe a year or two earlier, and where they hid evidence, which was a body cam footage. And so the only thing that those guys did was be first on the scene, right? So if anything, the defense could probably bring into question the scene, right? Maybe the sheath, was it planted? Was it not planted? Things like that. But for the rest of this, I don't really think that there's much there, right? I don't think that there's there, but maybe Kohberger might have an alibi. Now, if he had an alibi, would that, maybe change your mind a little bit, Big Blue?
Yeah, man, it would have to be a really good one where there's like photographic evidence of him somewhere, or video evidence of him somewhere.
Well, let's check out this clip from ITV News, and we'll see what's up.
I spoke to one of Kohberger's neighbours here at his university accommodation in Pullman. He didn't want to go on camera, but said he frequently saw Kohberger in the company of an Asian girl, often laughing and joking. On the night of the murder, he saw him right out here, acting normally.
Real quick, thank you so much, Robin Maley. We appreciate that.
Thank you, Robin.
I don't understand. I got this clip. I've seen it before. I've seen it a couple of times. I tried to find the original clip. It's been very difficult. ITV News. I'm not sure how big or strong their deal is. Oh no, Jaime's computer kind of just shut down, so he may not be able to make it back on. If you do, let us know, man. You're welcome to be back on. If not, we understand. Yeah. And so, just the channel, not personal. Yeah, for sure. And so, I've heard about this, that there was possibly a girlfriend there, right? And that, this person here, whoever this ITV News spoke to, said that the night of the incident, he was acting pretty normal out there. Now, you can go to this article, and I want to say thanks to Mike, who emailed me some of this information, right? This one says, accused University of Idaho murderer Bryan Kohberger never slept, right? And it talks about how his neighbor always saw him awake and things of that nature. But let's see. The neighbor, also a graduate student, said that the accused killer would say hello to each other in passing, and she once heard Kohberger bring a woman home. She didn't see the woman, but the walls are thin. She heard Kohberger and the woman talking. Up here it says, she once said she saw someone who looked like another young female student get out of Kohberger's white car, but they parted ways and went into their own apartment. So it sounds like he may have had some sort of relationship with somebody in his apartment complex. Does that sound about accurate to you, Big Blue?
Well, it sounds like it, or it could be him giving a right to somebody home that lives in the same apartment complex. But yeah,
that's true. That's true.
Because they parted ways and didn't go in the same apartment.
But what does this do for you as far as the incel theory about him, that he wasn't popular amongst people, wasn't popular especially amongst females?
Yeah, I find that a little hard to believe, because we have one of his friends on here, and he would party with him. He would hang out with him.
I agree.
So That's why I'm like, he had friends. He must have at least a few.
Yeah, and see, Mike, he's comes in with a 550 super chat. So it's so hard to find it for you, bro. I heard it elsewhere way back, but that's all I could find. Still digging for more info. Thank you so much. We appreciate you. If you guys have some information, or if you guys, want to send me some possible other cases that may have involved Kohberger, email them to us, drunkturkeyshow@gmail.com. And so, in my opinion, man, it's pretty interesting. It kind of throws a wrench into a theory that he was tired of not being able to get the attention of other women, right?
Kind of, because they said he had that Asian friend, but
right,
she hasn't been found yet, and the police have his phone. I'm pretty sure they can go through his info and try to find her to get, try to get at least see if he said he was with her that night. At least his story cleared.
Right.
Alibi.
Well, we don't know if the police have found her. There's a good possibility that they interviewed everybody in that apartment complex, and people who have come forward to have known Kohberger probably have. It just hasn't probably come up to us. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so, one of the things that they're probably going to be asking him, or one of the first things that they're going to be asking him is, or this person is, were you with him the night of November 13th or 2012 to the morning of November 13th? And if that's not the case, then it is what it is. We have 528 of y'all in here, 203 likes. Let's get the like up to about 300. Come on, y'all. We appreciate that.
Thank everybody who's following, who's been donating, who's a member. Thank you all. I really appreciate it.
Mr. Sentinel asks, if law enforcement planted evidence, what would be the motivation? What would you think, if it were to be the case?
To get rid of the story that they were incompetent. I mean, they had all that help, all the FBI help, and they still couldn't find anything.
Oh, I agree, man. In my opinion, though, I don't necessarily believe that it was planted, and I don't think that they're trying to frame Kohberger, because what would be like the question, what's the motivation to blame Kohberger? And if it's solely because they needed to put this case to rest and find somebody to blame, well, they could have done that with Kopaka. And, he's no longer with us. And so it's not like he can argue his case. And he threatened the lives of people around him. And so, you would assume, and I believe he also drove a 2013 silver Hyundai Elantra. And so, you can kind of, if you wanted to just kind of pin it on somebody, you can pin it on him. And if that was the sole motivation. So I don't think that that's the case here. Robin Maley comes in with a $5 super chat saying, I keep getting this weird feeling that this is going to end up in a twisted mess and not what we all expected. More involved, intertwined. I think so too. I think there's a good possibility of that, that there's going to be a lot more to this case than we're not even aware of. But I will say this, that when it comes to how they found Kohberger, I think that the evidence is there in the probable cause affidavit and amongst all the other affidavits that are out there as to the manner in which they caught him. You know what I'm saying? So if we were to break it down real quick, it was, they checked the video surveillance, and they end up checking the surveillance in Pullman, Washington. They see a white vehicle without a front license plate being operated around 2:45 in the morning, and then head towards a street, which would give them the direction to go towards Moscow. After he leaves, or that vehicle leaves Pullman area, it is seen in Moscow about 30 minutes later. And so you can assume that it could be the same vehicle. That vehicle is driving around and also missing a front license plate. And so at 5 something, you see that vehicle return back into Pullman. So if I was investigating this and I saw that, you also got to remember this is small community, small towns. There's nothing really open. So there's probably not a lot of traffic out there. And so wasn't the woman that was almost kidnapped by a guy in a green sweatshirt Asian? It was almost the same complex, also his office mate. I think she was like Hispanic or something.
Yeah, she was either Colombian or she was not from Mexico. I remember that. She was from another Honduran. Maybe she was Honduran or somewhere South America, but she was not from Mexico.
Right.
She was not
so, no, I didn't think so. And so, when you look at that and you look at the fact that there's a white Elantra in Pullman, it leaves Pullman, another one shows up in Moscow. And when that one leaves, an hour later, boom, there's an Elantra that shows back up in Pullman. So that would kind of lead you to believe that perhaps there's a good chance that the actor came from Pullman, Washington. And so what do the police officers do? They go to the Pullman, Washington, Pullman Police Department and WSU authorities and basically give them the information of the white Elantra, and so that they can kind of locate any vehicles that match that description. They go through the database. They come out to Bryan Kohberger. Now, this is on November 25th. They go verify his vehicle on November 29th. And by then, he already has Washington plates, but they realized that when he registered the vehicle, it was Pennsylvania plates, which didn't have to have a front license plate. So that's one big clue. The next one is the fact that he matches the height and weight description of the witness statement and also has the bushy eyebrows. And so I think they were keyed into him at that point. However, I don't think they were full-fledged thinking he was the guy. Let's see. What did it say? Nobody in town has balls to go down to the jail and talk to Kohberger. If I was there, I'd go talk to him.
I think they're letting people talk to him right now. I'm not sure.
I don't think so.
A report, not even with the big news stations. Mm-hmm. There's a gag order, so there's probably a gag order on him too.
Yeah, that's more than likely the deal there with that, right? And so they start looking at Kohberger, but Kohberger's vehicle probably doesn't match what they initially thought, which was a 2011 or 13 Elantra. You also look at the fact that apparently, according to the Airmail article, that they got excited about the Elantra in Eugene on December 20th. And it wasn't until they cleared that vehicle that they really harped on Kohberger, because on December 23rd is when they got his cell phone pings, right? And so that was after the fact that they cleared the Eugene vehicle. And on December 7th, they had posted out that they were looking for a white Elantra 2011 or 13, and they never changed it to include up to 2016. And from from December 7th, when they came out with the white Elantra's description, they didn't come up with an update until the Eugene Elantra was discovered. So from December 7th to December 20th, there's nothing there. Now, once they clear that vehicle, they then in turn start focusing on Kohberger. They look up, they get his cell phone pings on the 23rd. Those cell phone pings end up putting him, around the area 12 different times, things like that. They also look at his historical data and they figure that he turned his phone off before the crime and turned it back on after the crime, right? And so all those things led to them thinking, all right, well, this guy might end up being the dude. Let's go get the DNA out of the trash can. Go get the DNA. They tested it. Once it came back as a positive result, they 95'd him. They hooked him up. And so I think all that evidence is pretty much laid out there. Now, I feel that they had a pretty strong idea that after the fact that they're going to be finding a lot more evidence. And, you go look at the warrants that they released, it doesn't really seem like that. You look at the warrants from his house, they didn't find any bloody clothes. They didn't find the van's shoes, the weapon, those type of things. They found some hair, right? And well, according to one neighbor, he had a female in his apartment complex, at least at one point, and they found one animal hair. And so the ID cards is kind of, perked our attention, but that was out of the, hey, welcome back. How's it going? It looks good. You look good moving again.
Yeah, man. Like I don't know, my computer just pretty much shut down. What happened, man? I don't know.
Yeah, it's weird, man. It's weird. And so all those things led up to that direction. Now, me personally, I think that Kohberger is probably guilty. I'm concerned about the evidence that they have, if they have enough to arrest him for, with beyond reasonable doubt. That's going to be the big question. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And so, I don't know, man. So, what do you think about that video that we watched? Time in that article I read that he had, at least at some point, female acquaintances either in his house or in his car. Yeah. Does that throw a wrench in the theory that he's an incel?
Yeah, if that's the case, yeah. I mean, also, well, I mean, if you really look at it, he could just be just looking for, a potential victim. You know what I mean? So he has to be out there if that's the case.
Right. Well, one of them, according to the article, he brought a female in his white Elantra, and then they went their separate ways. So it sounds like that they both live in the same complex. I don't think it'd be smart of him to have committed this crime in the same complex.
Yeah.
But then again, this guy, who knows? A lot of people talk about his intelligence like they know the guy, which is kind of funny because we don't know how intelligent this dude is. Like, I've never talked to him. All I know is that he's a PhD student, and that he is allegedly accused of committing this crime. Now, there's some statements out there that say that he's kind of weird, kind of creepy, but I don't think anybody's going to come out in his defense right now based on what he's accused of.
No.
Like who's going to come out and say, "Oh no, he's a real good guy"? Like nobody's. That'd be. Yeah, that would be dumb.
I mean, there was that thing. I don't know if you saw this, but like recently, remember that shooting that happened in the bank? I can't remember.
Yeah. Louisville.
Yeah, Louisville. Yeah, like the parents actually came out and thanked the police department for for being brave and going in there and pretty much taking out their son, you know what I mean? Because they knew that he had a mental issues. So that means it's rare to hear that, especially from someone from the family of the suspect,
Yeah.
And on that one, I haven't seen the video yet. He live streamed it. There's a video. I haven't seen it yet.
I saw the body cam footage, man. That's it's crazy. That was a sad. All these stories are sad, man.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Thank you so much, Charles, for your $20 super chat. We appreciate you.
Thank you.
But
oh man, I think I'm gonna look like him when I get old. With this white hair,
white beard,
Yeah, look. Oh, man.
Is that you, Jaime?
That's probably me. Awesome.
Aging.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Apparently, we have discovered time travel in the next 5 years, and that's Jaime coming back.
Yeah, you got old in 5 years, Jaime.
That white faded quick there or the red faded quick real quick on the.
It's starting, man. It's starting. It's getting there. It's getting there pretty fast, actually.
Dude, mine's been there, man. I've had different. So when I was younger, I played football, and when I played ball, I think it was like 6th or 7th grade. Everybody decided to shave their heads for football.
Yeah,
I did mine, and I had like black and red hair, right? Like that was the color of my hair. I had black and red. My daughter has red hair, and so that's where she gets it from. But I had like black and red natural highlights. Shaved my head. Boom, half the red hair was gone, came back white. I was like, what? I was there like 13 years old, looking like I'm 30. And so it was not a good look for a middle schooler to be sporting the George Clooney look. Tyrone Graves within 199 super chat says, I think Brent was influenced by Christchurch. Now, Brent, is that Brent Kopacka that you think was influenced by Christchurch, or did you mean Brian? let me know in the live chat. Thank you so much though for your super chat.
Yeah, thank you.
And so,
yeah, I think we need more of a detailed background on him. You know, the way he grew up, and you know, if it's true that that he had a hard time making friends, and how isolated he was. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It'll be on the next Netflix special, so you'll see.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Which there's supposed to be a documentary that's coming out. I don't know if you guys saw that on our email. We got contacted by the British Broadcasting Company. They're wanting to do a special on the Idaho 4, and they asked us if we would be a part of it. So that looks like it's going to be in the works. This is the second time that we've been asked something like that. We had a Netflix also do the same thing. So you might be seeing us on the paid subscription platforms.
But just to remind everybody, you can also find us on the Washington Post.
Oh yeah. Man, those guys.
The Washington Post try to they saw the squirrel in the middle of the road and they floored it, kind of deal.
Wait, you know what? Like I told you guys, man, how many people can hear or can say that their name's been on the Washington Post?
Yeah,
that's true. That is true. You're absolutely right. I mean, it's not they bamboozled us, y'all. I know we've said it before, but they came out and they said, "Hey, we want to talk." It looked kind of similar to what the British Broadcast Channel. I don't want to say their initials because people can screw that initial.
Yeah.
When the British Broadcast Company contacted us, that email looked very similar to what the Washington Post was saying. So I was a little bit hesitant because the Washington Post came up to say, "Hey, we like your channel, we like your show, we think you guys are super informed. We like to talk to you guys about Idaho and what made you fascinated about being, the case and whatnot like that." And real quick, I'm gonna read this out. Brent, my personally thinks Brian was a driver. Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
I'll talk about the evidence for that after this statement. And so Washington Post said that. So we get on there and we start doing our little interview with them. And they start talking about how we got involved and things like that. And we joined the turkey train, tip the tumblers, chug the jugs, boys. Cheers. Let's do that. I appreciate that.
Oh, yeah.
And so we get on there, and then after a few minutes, we start getting asked questions about Bryan Kohberger. Thank you, Cynthia Gaines, for your $5 super chat. I'm gonna drink to this too. Enjoy having you guys in. Oh man, Blue, don't get too drunk tonight.
Hey, I'm off tonight, guys.
That's not good.
All right, Rays.
And this tastes just like soda, man. It's good.
Thank you, Art, for your $4.99 super chat. We love the DTS, always informative and never Yeah, we just like, and that's what we told the Washington Post when they asked us about our show, right? We're like, we're information based. We are evidence based. Do we speculate? Yeah, because we don't have all the information, but we speculate based on the evidence. If it's not there, we're not going to go down that trail. And so we were super shocked when they started asking about Bryan Kohberger, because at that point, we really didn't even talk about it. We knew about the situation, but we really didn't find too much of a connection. There might be. We'll talk more about it. Mizzy 604 550 super chat. If you don't get an arrest warrant on a quadruple homicide with flimsy evidence, or do you?
I don't think you do. Let's go around.
But you don't need evidence that proves beyond reasonable doubt to get an arrest warrant. You only need the preponderance of evidence to get the arrest warrant, to make you believe that there's the possibility that this person committed the crime, so that you can bring charges and they can take trial.
Yeah.
And so it doesn't necessarily mean that it's solid evidence, but they have enough evidence to believe that he's there. What do you guys think about this question?
No, yeah, definitely. I know, like in other cases, sometimes they don't have enough for the arrest, right? And they bring up maybe like a warrant from another town or whatever. or state, and they keep them. They hold them until they can find a little bit more. I don't think that was the case here. I think they had a lot more than they're telling us.
Okay, I'll be right back.
Big Blue sees this as a challenge.
Yeah, challenges. Yeah, but I think they had enough for the search warrant, for the arrest warrant, and they're gonna keep them until was it June?
Yeah, till June. I think it's June 26th, somewhere around there is when they're gonna be doing
so
that.
June is when we're gonna find out.
Yeah,
slowly through that trial to see if how much evidence there is against them.
Yeah, for sure, man. And I think there has to be a lot more than what we saw. Even though I'm fairly positive leading up to his arrest, it was pretty much the way they explained it. I do think that there's still some stuff that's close to the vest. There might be a lot more evidence they're not telling us outside of that house or inside of that house that comes out of that house. I mean, it was described as sloppy. It was described as a mess. And so, one would assume there would be evidence there. Now, if the only DNA there that is his is that speck on the sheet, and I'm glad you asked this, Tyrone, with your 199 super chat. The evidence is not solid. Brian is innocent. I'm not sure about the innocent part, but I do agree that the evidence is not as solid as a lot of people have stated on major news media and things of that nature. I think that there is I think that there could be a defense here for Kohberger.
Yeah.
And so, but man, I forgot what I was saying before that. Do you remember?
No, not really, man. I ain't gonna lie.
Nah, it's all good, man. And so, when it comes to Kohberger, though, Big Blue's back. Thank you, just in time. Maybe he'll give me time to remember what I was saying.
Right.
Let's see this. Well, you know what? We need that $5 super chat, and Blue is what is that? You're muted. What kind of beer is that?
Okay, this one I got for Easter. Yeah, the Easter Bunny left me beer, which is my girlfriend. And this is called the Full Grown Man.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it's an Imperial Stout. And it's by Tupps Brewery. So I've never had it. And I'm going to use this, even though they didn't sponsor us and they didn't give it to me for free. I had to order this.
What is this? You say this, you got to tell everybody what it is.
It's called the Kraken 2.0.
The Kraken.
Look it up. Not sponsored by me. It kind of sucked the last 2 times I've used it. It blew up in my face twice.
Hey, that's what Lady Liberty likes to do, man.
I don't know if he's talking about beer.
But this time it's going to be a full-grown man. I don't know, man.
Oh, man. We have
man, come on, man. That's members only, man.
Yeah.
Do it. Wait. Who's the dedicated?
Hold on. Let's boom. Take the floor, Blue.
Let me take my headphones off, because man, it sprayed it everywhere last time. I'm getting a little bit away from my computer. But I'm getting all over my screen.
He's preparing. All right. Yeah, people are asking for the bib. Put it in your mouth, Blue. You got to put it in your mouth.
That's not the first time.
Oh, it's on his shirt.
Oh, man. Well, it's better than last time. I'll tell you that.
Hey, Blue, you got a full man on your shirt.
My bad. I can't hear shit right now. Let me find my headphones.
Man, this is why we love Big Blue. This is why he's the man, the myth, and the legend all wrapped in one.
Again, it's all over me again. God dang it. So I do not sponsor that one, because it's a crapshoot every time you use it, man. It shoots everywhere.
Yeah, dude. I think you need to use the key method. It's a lot less, messy.
It's quicker. Yeah. It's quick. I'm gonna order that new shotgun one. Take a little gun, you put it in there, and shoot it. You cock it, and then you can drink out the bottom.
Somebody goes, hey guys, do you think any of the crime scene evidence will be allowed with scene compromise and lack of control at the start? Even placement of the stool seem less than professional. Man, I've been saying that this entire time. The scene, it's not the scene was not. It was not correctly used. You know, you had the stools. You also had officers that were in there not wearing booties, wearing regular shoes. Thank you, Alice, for your $25 super chat asking how did we three make. Hey, we sent your red a beanie out in the mail. I think I sent it out on Wednesday, so it'll probably be arriving Monday or Tuesday. Congratulations to our last week's winner, Alice.
And did the winner for the tumbler ever come back on? I don't remember.
She hadn't came back on the show. I think she did come back on the show, but she did email me that she received it and she loves it.
Awesome.
Yes. And so, earlier I saw the lab in here. If you guys haven't checked him out, I was on his show last night. We were talking about Kohberger's case. He was on our show. We're talking about summer whales. And so we're going to be doing some more things with Josh. Go check him out. If you're not subscribed, subscribe. Big Blue, take it away.
Thank you, Leticia Guerra. And yes, it was better this time. It wasn't all over my computer and all over my headphones, even though I probably smell like, what are they called? Full bearded man. Full bearded man.
Are you describing a lonely Saturday night?
Hey, why do I have a feeling this isn't the first time that Leticia's told you it was a better job this time? Let's see. Oh, Holly Ferguson comes in with a $19.99 super chat. Thank you so much. She was on our show here recently. She's friends with Courtney Stauffer, missing person from 10 years ago from the Pennsylvania area, who is still missing, and police are still looking for information. If you haven't checked out that episode, go check it out. We've been doing a lot of work, y'all. We try to put out videos or shows daily. So if you're not subscribed, hit that subscribe button and ring that notification bell.
What's it called? I don't think you answered Alice.
Oh yeah, how did we meet? So it starts off with actually it was one of our good friends. His name is Hugo. He actually messaged me earlier today. I think it was his birthday today or yesterday. Yeah. So happy birthday, bro. I met my buddy Hugo in second grade, and when we became friends, and then he became friends with a guy named Jonathan Martinez, who's not allowed in libraries, and
was my cousin,
which is Jaime's cousin. We met him in sixth grade, and Jaime, being his cousin, kind of joined the crew. So it was me, Hugo, Jaime, and Jonathan for the longest time. We used to switch our schedules around just so that we could have the same class. Our teachers, they liked it at first because we were all quiet. And then once we got on the same classroom, they're like, nah, we got to get these guys away from each other. Truth and transparency in the building. Hey, guys, want to say sorry to you guys and the mods, members, and subs. You guys rock. Looking forward to much doing a makeup on Sunday. Yes. Looking forward to it.
Cheers. Cheers. Hope everything goes well.
Yes. And so Big Blue was a friend of Hugo's and Sammy's and a bunch of other guys that we all hung out when we got into high school. So Blue started hanging out, I think it was like 8th grade is when we started hanging out with Big Blue. And that's when he came up with the name Big Blue, right?
Yeah,
because I remember we noticed about halfway in the semester like that this guy only wore blue shirts.
That was my color, man. I like
it. It still is, buddy.
I've owned 5 blue cars. I owned the 78 F-150 was blue. My 08 Tundra was blue. My 14 Tundra was blue. My 2019 F-150 was blue. My blue Pontiac G6 convertible was blue. So yeah, I like blue.
Dude, did you listen to that song like a G6 in your G6?
Yes.
Tyrone Graves says Brent, Entin, and Brian. Entin snitched, in my opinion. Now, that's interesting because we had a caller named Kim who stated that the theory was that there was 3 people outside of the house that night. Mm-hmm. So you there's that possibility, and when it comes to Kim, fan of the show. She still messages us. In fact, I talked to her. She sent me a YouTube clip. Apparently, there was a lady who was charged for the, I guess, the hazing incident at one of the WSU students that recently passed away from an alcohol poisoning or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a body cam footage of her getting a DWI stop. So Cecilia goes, it was either Papa Smurf or something else. Cynthia Gaines, thank you so much for becoming a member. We appreciate you.
Thank you.
But when it comes to Brent, Brian, and Enon, I mean, I don't know about Brent. You know, I've never seen any videos of him or moments. I don't know what kind of person he was or anything like that. We do know we've had stories about the person that Bryan Kohberger is. We've seen Xana Harsh talk and go out on interviews. Do you guys think that those two guys, we'll leave Brent out of this because we don't know anything about him other than his life was taken by SWAT on December 13th.
Mm-hmm.
Could you guys see Xana and Bryan Kohberger being friends? I, for one, don't think Xana is involved in it, but what do you think? We'll start off with you.
Maybe acquaintances, maybe long shot. I don't think. I think what Enon said was trying. For me, it's still the fact that he was trying to get some kind of publicity out of it. You know what I mean?
Right.
I still feel like that's the case. Did he witness something, or did he see someone else besides the three people out there in front of the house? I don't know about that, but could he be a potential witness? It could be.
That's true. Well, he did say that he heard a scream around 4 a.m.
Yeah, but I mean, maybe he's seen more than he's actually saying. You know,
that's true. That's quite possible. What about you, Big Blue? What are your thoughts?
Maybe he took stick juggling classes with him, but I don't think they were friends.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. I don't think so either. Is there a possibility? Maybe, but not sure. And thank you, Mikey, for your $5 super chat.
Thank you, Mikey.
$5.50. And yeah, let's get that.
I'm gonna start on my second drink, which I really enjoy, but not this vodka. I just enjoy vodka personally.
Yeah.
This is Enchanted Rock vodka, and I'll show you what my favorite mix is with it right now. Right. Well, that's all the bottle. It's gone.
Oh, also, guys, I saw another person asking for those that are coming in a little bit late. Lana had an emergency, and she wasn't able to make it. But we are going to be doing a makeup show on Sunday, so stay tuned for that. Mikey says all of Kim's info is legit. I heard all the details from the start before they even arrested anyone. The start of this has more credible info than nowadays. That's quite possible, and that's true. You know, Xana Harsh said that, and thank you, Tash Coley, for becoming the newest member. Xana Harsh said, I believe he was talking with Lana from Truth and Transparency. She did an interview with him.
Yeah.
And during that interview, she had the initial rumors around town was brought up, and what he had said sounded very similar to what Kim was saying, that it was possibly drug related, and that things that maybe a drug thing gone wrong. And that was what the rumors that were speculating in the town of Moscow around the time of the incident. And so, not saying that is true, but that's what was speculated around. And given the fact that Kim has 2 children that are in the area, it would make sense that they're hearing that same rumor. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Oh man, I took it off my bed. I was gonna say, and this is the crack that goes in it. And any vodka. Not sponsored by them. Maybe one day I will be, but it's Canadian Dry. And I like all their products, but the cranberry ginger ale is the one. The one you mix with vodka, man.
Man, the only Canadian Dry or whatnot that I know of is Matt Canada, the Steelers offensive coordinator, because his offense is freaking dry and they need to get a new one. Let's see. Tyrone Graves. Enan is a witness. They're keeping private. He did say he saw a white Elantra possibly parked back there. Now, Is it possible that white Elantra that he saw, he's saying that because, at that point word was going around that there's possibly white Elantra involved, or maybe he did see one.
Yeah.
I found the fact that he initially put on his Facebook post that it was a quiet night, and then he comes back saying that he heard a yell, to be maybe perhaps he's just going along with things.
I have to turn my shirt around. Somebody just wants to drop it like it's hot.
They said shirt, not shorts.
What's it called? I want to ask. I want
Turkey show shirt. Yes, sir.
What's it called? I wanted to ask the chat if they will be interested in winning some stickers, some drunk turkey stickers. If you're interested, we might have a little kind of trivia next week, and whoever answers first is going to get stickers sent to them.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I don't know what trivia it is. I think it's going to be movie trivia. It's just going to be once a show we might put out some free stickers for y'all.
Yep. And they look pretty awesome. In fact, the winner of the Tumblr got them. Got a couple, and she liked them. Christine Marie says, Enan also saw a black luxurious SUV without a state plates park. I remember him saying that. I recall that as well. And so, let's see. But, so people are asking for a hat and stuff. We actually are going to be doing hats as well. We ordered, how many do we have that we're just waiting to get
20?
Finished? We have 20 hats that are waiting to get finished. We have you can go to, Bonfire, and you can find the shirt that Blue is wearing. You can also find the DTS Drunk Turkey Show shirt, which I ordered mine, but I have to wait for the damn campaign to end before I get it. So I'm supposed to get it by next week sometime. So I can't wait to be sporting that one. And I won't have to turn around like Blue because it says everything on the front. And so I did that one strategically for myself.
It's just like watching me drop it like it's hot, man. My knees can still handle it.
You're gonna drop it like it's not.
But yeah, when it comes to this case, there's a lot of intricate details, man. I really. So, we'll ask you this, and you know what? You guys can put it in the live chat. What percentage? And I just want the number. Do you guys think that more than one person was involved? Do you think it's a 20% chance it was more than one person? You think it's 100% chance for a fact there was two people involved? We'll take some calls here in a minute as well. We'll take a few. What do you guys think? We'll start off with you, Jaime.
Man, it's hard, but I believe I'm 20% sure that there was not someone involved.
Right. So 20% sure that there was not. So you're 80% sure that there was?
No, I mean the other way around. I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm 20% sure that what's it called? Well, 2080 and stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But the thing is about having someone else involved, it just makes it a lot more riskier.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But at the same time, there was so little time between all four victims. You know what I mean? So it's like, but I want to lean more towards the fact that with more people involved, the easier it is to get caught. Yeah.
Well, it only took them 7 weeks.
Yeah. So there's 793 people, 800 people in here. Thank you all for being here.
They all joined when you were showing your back.
Yeah.
Tuesday Child says 30%. Dude, you're crazy, boo. We love you. Let's see. Yeah. So here's the thing. Here's the thing about Kohberger. He's not afraid to bring people along with him, right?
Yeah.
For instance, he had somebody drive him around to go find heroin, right? So,
who doesn't?
Right? I mean, that's pretty crazy. And didn't even tell that person. Not saying that he wouldn't. I'm sure if he would have had somebody drive him around to go commit this crime and he came back like, what were you doing? And he's all full of stuff. It's probably not the way it went down. But you're right. There's the fact that how fast this went down, the fact that there's no screams. That's the one thing I can't get over is there's no screams. Like Dylan doesn't say that there's a scream. The audio from the neighbor's house, from the ring footage, doesn't show that there's a scream. It's all basically just voices and whimpering. Now,
you know what this vodka needs? Vodka needs a little bit of rum.
What's it called? The residents that these crimes were committed at, I mean, they were surrounded by houses, apartment complexes, and everything, right? And it's just like you said, it's hard to believe that 4 people were unalived and nobody heard almost anything, including, Dylan, which she did hear a couple of things, but not enough for her to call for help.
Nah, you're right. But here's the thing. I will say this. JLR, Jonathan Lee Riches Investigates, he was out there, right? And he was out there in Moscow, Idaho, in front of the residents. And all he did was just turn his phone, stayed quiet so that you could listen to the noise around the neighborhood. There was people screaming, yelling, hollering. It seemed kind of like a normal occurrence in this area. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so we have a poll that was going on saying, should we take your calls? And 75% of you guys said yes. And so we'll open up the lines here in a second.
Salud.
I want to give out a sticker or 2 stickers. I don't know.
I know. My vodka was more vodka, but I ran out of vodka.
You ran out of vodka. That's not a good sign.
You should mix vodka with vodka.
I know. I ran out.
Twice.
I normally have bottles and
double shots.
It's been a hard week this week, guys.
Let's see.
I got vodka. I don't feel like drinking it right now.
All right, so the phone lines are open. Let me put this into the I think I put it into the live chat. Oh, and thank you, Obsessed Disneyland, for being a member again.
This rum vodka cranberry ginger ale is really good, man. I think I made a new drink.
Well, Blue, you need to start, showing people your drinks and what you do. So off. All righty. So the phone lines are open. The phone number is 726-842-0812. If you guys want to call in, and we'll give you guys a couple minutes just to give us one question or a statement, and then we'll talk about it, and then we'll reopen up the lines. First call is in.
It's not me.
Call from Britt. To accept, press 1.
Talk about it, and we'll reopen up the line.
You're on the line. Who are we talking with?
This is Britt, a longtime member.
Hi, Britt. What are your thoughts about the case?
Honestly, I think BK is innocent and he had to be framed due to the fact because, it was break time and, parents didn't want to send their kids back to school knowing that there was a murder run. Don't want to get the phone or anything like that. Anyway, I just feel like he's innocent and everybody's forcing things on him, like the sheet was, placed and framed. I'm one of the few that, like I said, think he's innocent.
Well, I mean, there's actually quite a few that do think he's innocent. There's a little bit of a following. I want to thank you, Britt, for calling. I'm going to let you go so we can talk about your comment, and then we'll open up them again. Thank you so much. We appreciate you. All right. So Britt thinks Kohberger is innocent, that people are blaming him for something, and that she don't think it was possibly him. Instead of just saying, do you think he's innocent? What do you think is the biggest possible clue, in your opinion? We'll start off with you, Jaime, that would lead you to believe that he's possibly innocent.
Money. The college. Was, I said it from the beginning, maybe the college is trying to get this under wrap. That way, people can go back and then, start paying tuition again.
Yeah, that's quite possible. What about you, Big Blue? What do you think, if anything, is the biggest evidence that could say that he's possibly innocent?
I can't say because I think he's not innocent. So I think he's guilty. But if in theory that he was innocent, it would be the cell phone doesn't 100%, say that he was there that night. I mean, he turned it off, so that's one way of him hiding it. But Dylan's eyewitness statement says he was there, but not 100% because she just saw a tall white male with bushy eyebrows, which that could be a lot of people up north.
That's quite true. That's quite true. Especially, above 5'10", bushy eyebrows, and even the white Elantra alone doesn't really, yell out uniqueness. You know what I'm saying? Those are all things that are very common. So for me, the only evidence that I could say that that could say that he's innocent is the lack of evidence. So, for instance, the search on his house, they haven't found the weapon. They haven't found there isn't blood or any of those things at his apartment complex, the shoes, the clothes. And I'm sure he got rid of those things. But, the lack of evidence when it comes to that, I found that to be surprising. But that's the only thing. When you look at this case from 1,000-foot view, right, and this is the way the prosecution's going to want you to look at it. They're going to say, all right, you have Kohberger, who matches the description, who was driving a white vehicle, who was operating a white vehicle during and around the time of the commission of the crime. He was in the area of 12 different times. His DNA is on the sheath. His, he was following some of the victims and on social media and stuff like that. When you put it all together, it is pretty crazy. Now, you can probably break apart all those things one step at a time, but that is one that, the defense is going to do. So Lady Jane says Dylan should be investigated as well for waiting 8 hours. I don't disagree. I think she was. I think that there was a heavy investigation. I think she was probably prime suspect number one. I mean,
yeah, but it's like this. It's a college house, I would say. How many one-night stands have she seen walk out that door? And then she could have thought it was another one-night stand. The thing that gets me is she did put in her statement that she got so scared she froze in place. And she froze in place for 8 hours. I don't get that.
Yeah.
It does not take 8 hours to get out of a frozen space.
That, and then also Ethan's sister-in-law came forward saying that she had supposedly contacted everybody in the house. She called everybody, so she was able to use her phone. And supposedly she called the person that ended up going over and discovering the bodies as well.
Yeah.
Which, and I've said the name before. I'm fairly positive it's going to come out. It was Hunter Johnson that was called over.
But I feel like if she called everyone, she already knew something was up. Because if she didn't know that anything was up, like it was just another night, seeing someone there, that she wouldn't have called everyone to make sure that they were okay. You know what I mean? So she I feel like she kind of already knew that something was up, like something wrong was going on.
BDMC says we never heard her say that. And she never did. It doesn't say that she said that she froze. However, it's in the probable cause affidavit. The officer who wrote that wasn't there to determine that she was frozen in fear. That must have been something that was disclosed to him by her. All right, I got the do not disturb turned off. Let's take a couple more calls. The lines are open. Again, that phone number is 726-842-0811. We got a call coming in.
I see a lot of people in here. If y'all ain't subscribers, please subscribe. We're trying to hit 50K.
GG.
We'll get there. Welcome to the Drunk Turkey Show. How's it going? Who are we talking to?
Hey, this is Gigi.
How's it going, Gigi? How you doing tonight?
Hi, Gigi.
I'm doing all right. Looks like you guys are feeling all right as well.
We're feeling pretty good.
All right.
Good. Hey, listen, before I share a couple things with you, I wanted to tell you, I sent this to you on TikTok just so that you can keep the little flow going. Maybe think about doing a system where even when you've got the unavailable on, but you're going to be taking calls, maybe make it so that they can sit and wait and listen to elevator music or something, so that when you come back on, you've already got somebody sitting there waiting. Just an idea.
Nice.
Yeah, no, for sure. That is definitely something that we are looking into.
Oh, good. I wanted to tell you, I'm going to be completely honest with you. Whenever it was more of the like really having a good time and really getting turned up, I didn't watch just a tutu lot, and it was nothing to do with you. It's me. I got sober, and so like, just trying to stay on that path kind of thing. But anyways, here about a month ago, I stumbled onto a couple of your videos, and I just wanted to tell you, like, your professionalism is just shot through the roof, and I'm proud of you. So I just wanted to tell you that.
Thank you.
We appreciate that.
So here are things that are of great concern to me. And I'm weird. I'm out there. I'm loud. I'm boisterous. I'm also like completely backwards and country as hell. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So just hear me out. If you have any questions about it, like instead of just letting me throw a list out, ask me if that would be cool. Hey, to the other guys in there, by the way. Hey, y'all.
Hey.
You won't be able to hear them, but they can hear you.
I just want to say, Gigi.
Okay, great.
Hold on. Blue he wants to tell you something, so he's gonna say it, and then I'll re-say it to you. What are you gonna say, Blue?
I just want to say congratulations on being sober. It's not an easy fact, and it's not easy at all. So congratulations. And how long has she been sober for?
Yeah, Blue says congratulations on your sobriety. He knows it's not very easy to do. How long have you been sober?
It was 2 years in January.
Congratulations.
Mm-hmm.
Congratulations.
It was 2 years in January, and I'll tell you, I know you have a lot of it. This is not why I called in, but I know that a lot of people that I probably pissed off are probably in your chat. I'm not a member of your YouTube page. I follow you on TikTok, but so I can't like add to the live chat, but I'm the GG that kind of went ballistic over on Twitter. After the termination letter, WSU termination letter came out. And so now that we're all here, I just wanted to say that sometimes we get hyper-focused on standing up too much. Ooh, made me want to cry. And so I just wanted to tell everybody, anybody who even just had a negative opinion about me, that I just was super, super, super emotional at that time. And there's no reason for it. There's no justification, but I've wiped the slate clean for myself. And so if you did that, that would be great. So, let me take a deep breath. Hold on.
You're fine.
Because I really do got some good shit, y'all. Listen. Okay. So first of all, I'm just going to throw this out there. I got super, super stuck for probably 3 weeks on thinking that Bryan Kohberger was copycatting Ted Bundy with the Kyle Mega murders of 1978. And just super, super fast, because I do not want you to have to hang up on me or embarrass me by having to say I got to go. So I want to make it quick.
Okay.
The correlations between the two are out of this freaking world. There are the fact that there was a call to an issue in front of the frat in both of them. The cops are leaving the frat call in Ted Bundy's case to go to Kyle Mega. And then, of course, there was 301 frat call. There was an issue with the door in both situations. And actually, you know how he had page 118? They have that written down in the search warrant.
Right.
So page 118 in Conversations with the Serial Killer by Ted Bundy. I don't know if have you already talked about it, or?
We've talked a little bit about a lot of the similarities between Kohberger and several different guys or people that have taken multiple lives of other individuals.
Right, right. Because you really do have to just like look at all of it. But more specifically, page 118 in Conversations with the Serial Killer is literally him talking about how he chose the Chi Omega house. And I mean, that's just, I think that's what got me thrown off. If you want to look it up, or I could read it to you, what I don't want to do is, I called in to T-Red's show the other night, and y'all, I was on that phone for an hour, and everybody in the chat was like, not everybody, a lot of people were kind, but people were like making fun of me and stuff, and I can't stand that. So I don't want to waste time reading it to you if you can go and read it another time and look into it. But that page, he's saying literally that the pages leading up to it, that pages and the pages after, he's talking about like, the interviewer says, you know, sorority girls can be very, you know, off-putting, especially to somebody, and then it describes a person who's kind of backwards. And he said these murders really seem like a rage of sorts. And he said, is it possible that one of the girls, you know, pissed you off? And he said, well, it's possible. And they go into great detail about it. The other similarities, again, I don't believe this anymore, so I don't want to go too far, but in both cases, there was a girl, and then two girls in one room. In both cases, there was, this is really weird and out there was a thud and a scream. In Bundy's case, he got interrupted in the Chi Omega murders, and he went 8 blocks and jumped into a woman's room. And the only way her life was saved was a thud and a scream. And I just found that so crazy. But that part is, I mean, that's circumstantial. Like, he couldn't have ensured that happened. The other situation is that in both situations, there were games that weekend. In both situations, the girls were at the bar. In Ted Bundy's case, he asked a girl outside, he said, are you in Chi Omega? And she said no, and he said, you're lucky. And then he went to the house and attacked the 4 people. There are other similarities in it, but I don't think that he was trying to copycat him. I now think that he was trying to be a big enough impact that he would be seen as more infamous than Ted Bundy, BTK, of all those people. What I do think he possibly did do in association with Ted Bundy is, one second, I smoke every day of my life. Everybody should choose plants over pills. So I got a cough right now. Okay, so here is a couple of things to think about. 50 years ago at WSU, literally the same WSU we're talking about, a woman named Paula was coming back from a local place for the summer, coming back to Washington State.
Yeah.
And it's still considered a cold case, and he did lead them to believe that he killed the 2 women that they were talking about in Idaho that were cold cases, but they've never pinned it on him for sure. But her body was thrown in the Wawa-E Canyon. And if you pull up where he drove all the way down and then drove over and then drove back up to Pullman, that U shape, he's only, I think, maybe 19 miles from Wawa-E Canyon, where this WSU student, who I'm sure he believes also was Ted Bundy, body was thrown. So I personally think that the time he spent with the phone not connecting around that area was him going and putting, with so much respect in my heart, I say this, parts of them. I don't know what that means, nor can I tell you exactly, but I believe he took, whoever his target was, he took something of their body, period.
I've heard that. I've heard that.
I hope I'm wrong.
Right. Yeah, I've heard that theory before. In fact, Kim, our caller, she said that that she heard that was the case. I don't have anything to prove that, The body part that she said that was taken sounds like it would have been a very much more of a messier situation. And I don't see how you don't get out of that third floor without leaving a significant trail of blood behind through the entire house if it was the case.
I 100% agree with you. And I think what I want to tell you as soon as I'm done with this, hey, about how much longer do I have so that I don't do the whole embarrassing myself thing? Maybe
we'll give you
3 minutes.
Yeah, I'll give you another 3 minutes. It's fine.
Oh, awesome. Thank you guys so much. So when he went all the way down, I watched a grizzly. If everybody hasn't seen it, her husband does a flyover of that path using like this program where we actually can see where he drove down and over. So I was watching that one night, and they get all the way down there where they have to cross over the water, and I realize it's the Snake River. So one of Bundy's last, multiple murders of Ted Bundy's, he used the Snake River to put body parts in. And also, y'all, jot this down in your brain, because later down the line, if it comes out, I don't want us to all be looking crazy like we didn't know something about Ted Bundy in the true crime community. I think you know something, I know something, that person over there knows something, and when we all come together and work together, we learn, right? So, Taylor Mountain is only like, you have to just look it up, maybe 4 hours. I don't know how many hours, y'all. Mm-hmm. But that is where Ted Bundy left I want to say a minimum of 4, but it could be much more skulls. Mm-hmm. So I could really see, y'all got to see it like this. It ain't about Ted Bundy. It's about he's reading the books. He's listening to TED Talk. He's TED Talk. He's listening to that last interview when Ted Bundy's talking to James Dobson because he's about to be put to death. Mm-hmm. And he's recounting his youngest victim. And you can literally see Ted begin to melt the most disturbing, gross way. Like recanting it was pleasurable.
Right.
And I think what happened is that, number one, I believe PK, I think that he has killed before, and not just animals, but I think he's killed maybe even as early as Ted Bundy's first admission, which was around, his first admission was later, but what they think is around 14.
Wow.
I have so much information to give y'all. You know what we should do, my friend? I should just list these in an order, and then if you want to ask me something about them, that way I don't hang up with all this stuff on my paper.
Okay. Yeah. We can do something like that.
Okay.
Do you have our email address? We can also correspond through there, and I can kind of get a lot more detailed information.
I suck at email. I promise I would love to do that for you, but I'm more of like when your show's over tomorrow or something, we can just, call each other on like the Zoom and like go through it.
Sounds
we can
good.
do that. But here's the things, okay? So he's literally taking in, when he was at the sales, everybody's thinking he's learning about blood splatter. Excuse me. He's not there learning about blood splatter. He's not up underneath Ramsland learning about crime scenes. That's not why he was doing that. He was there to learn about how to climb into the mind of the killer.
Right.
Okay, into the mind of the criminal. And so he literally was drenched in that. He was drenched in nothing but psychotic, no filter, no nothing constantly. And what I believe happened is nothing at all like I've even said before, and it's scary and weird and all of the things. Mm-hmm. So my current theory, and I don't just have a ton of stuff to back it up, is that well, let me say these other things. I want to encourage everybody to go back and watch the Grub Truck video. Mm-hmm. Please do this for 2 reasons. And you guys are going to have so much content, especially content creators. Honestly, the Little My Hen Life
Uh-oh. I think she hung up on us. Hello? Hello?
That sounded like it cut off.
It did sound like it cut off. I was listening to.
Could be those storms passing.
Yeah,
by.
yeah. Jaime actually, there's an electrical storm going on where Jaime's at, and his lights just turned off. And right now, I try to put a comment in there, and I was having connectivity issues. Gigi, I apologize. I did not do that. I have no idea what had occurred.
I just want to say, Gigi, and I believe there's another guy in the chat. I want to say his name was either Robert or Rob. And let me see. I'm going to go back as quickly as I can. But they were both celebrating sobriety. And, I want to say, that's a good.
For sure. We got another. Now we got another call coming in. I'm going to answer this one.
Go ahead.
Hi, it's Terry Martin again. I'm not
to accept. Press 1 to send a voice.
Hello, how's it going? You're on the show.
Oh, hi. My name's Terry Martin.
Yes, ma'am.
And hi. I think you guys are great. First of all, I am just joining, so please, and I apologize if I'm not saying the exact right, catching up in the right time frame, but I've been watching. Do you remember when they gave the police cam when the kids were getting stopped in the Banfield that night?
Yeah.
Okay. I watched that the other night and just like went back over it and over it and over it. And there's so many things in there that I have not heard anybody mention or say. And it's been said, and I apologize. You can tell me I'm an idiot, but do you remember the fourth kid that came up?
Yeah.
Was ever being investigated by the police?
Identical to Ethan's brother.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Is that already been said?
Not to my knowledge. I don't know. I'm not sure.
Okay.
Not on our channel. It hasn't.
Okay. So definitely go back and look at that because I'm 99% sure that's Ethan's brother. And I'm also pretty sure that Ethan is the middle guy in as far as one of the other three. You'll have to go through it, but you know how in the pictures and like all the pictures that Ethan's in, he has those sunglasses on.
Right.
Do you know what I'm talking about? Okay. So go back in. I know that they have they're covering up their faces for majority, but if you watch it, you're going to see that there's times where they do show their faces and it's like 3 a.m, pitch black, and he has the sunglasses on. Okay. And the other thing is, they ask where they're coming from, and one of the kids says Matt. I think Matt. I don't know if he just made that up or whatever, but they're coming. They're like going over. Looks like to the Sigma Chi house, and the fourth kid, he's carrying beers. It looks like they're almost going, over there for the party. And he says that he lives somewhere over from where he just came from. And then he says to the policeman, he's like, "Oh, is that your car over there? Are you guys like undercover?" And the guy says, "Oh yeah, they got us on a hybrid now."
Right.
So there's one policeman. Two of them get out of that car. Okay. So the second one, who's the driver, is in some sort of a police, or, he's in some uniform. I don't know if it's an actual. And you were a policeman, am I correct?
Yes, ma'am.
At some point, were you, Daniel?
Yes, ma'am. I was a police officer for about 3 or 4 years.
Okay. So then if you look at it, you can probably see if that's a real policeman's uniform or not. They show both body cams, okay? But the other guy is, he asks the fourth guy, who I know has to be Ethan's brother, if you look at him. He's like, yeah, they got us in, they're making us sit and, or they're making us drive hybrids for gas, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
And he's like, oh, okay. He's like, so are you 21? And he's like, do you have your ID? And he's like, yeah, I'm 21, but I don't have my ID. And then he's like, but I got it on my phone.
Right.
I'm sorry, but what guy doesn't carry their wallet in the back pocket? Okay, whatever. The other three say they're freshmen. And so then he lets the fourth guy go, and he takes the other three, the two cops do, over to the car, which is a silver car that looks like, and I don't know, I mean, I'm just saying this, but it kind of looks like it could have been, because I heard that, I mean, I remember hearing that, what's his face, Brent, I believe, had a silver car. And and while they were still in the Banfield, I'm sorry, I'm going to go back for 1 second. He asked them how much they had to drink, and he keeps asking them over and over. They're walking. I mean, why would he keep pushing it? Like, oh, you had to have more than that. Come on, guys, you had more than that. Keep going, keep going. Why would he keep saying that? Why would he keep wanting to know how much they had to drink if they were walking? Is that a normal thing? I mean, to me, as I was watching it, I'm like, it's almost like he wanted to know how drunk they were, or maybe, just to, you know where I'm going with that, right?
Right. Well, yeah, that's probably what it sounds like. They were trying to maybe perhaps get a PI involved.
Yeah, public intoxication charge.
Why? Second of all, for them to have seen that and in the car, either they were called on those guys, right? Somebody called them in and said there's guys walking drunk. Right. They were sitting there watching maybe the house, I don't know, or they were just driving by, which seems odd. Okay, so that kind of was weird to me. That was another red flag that kind of came up to me. And when then they took the three over, and still, it was the guy that did most of the talking was the undercover guy. Okay, and one of the kids said he was lying, and he was talking about the fourth guy. Okay, he's not. In other words, he's not 21. And even the other cop in the car said he lied to you, homeboy. You know, and he said, nope, I could tell that was his license on his on his phone. I could even see the hologram. So anyway, he writes them up. He wants to get all their information. And then if you listen, they don't block out a lot of the stuff. So you can hear. And then this is where I think that it was really definitely Ethan, is because the dress cop comes out. He's like, Ethan. And they'd already let one of the guys go, so there were only two there by that time. And one of the guys points to the other guy and says, to the closest to the cop. So literally, the guy says Ethan. Okay, so I mean, I don't know. Maybe it's just a different Ethan, but it just seems odd. And you know that they don't know. They keep saying, well, they don't know where Ethan and Xana were at that time frame. Well, we're talking after 3 o'clock in the morning. Are they standing right there in front of the house?
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I know what you're saying. And for me, I think the most important part about that entire thing is the fact that, so Bryan Kohberger is seen leaving Pullman, Washington around 2:57. So if he had gone straight to the King Road residence, he would have been there probably around 3:10, 3:15 at the latest. And that was the same time that car was out there. And they had those kids stopped.
Right.
Now, the first time that he's seen on camera, according to the probable cause affidavit, is at 3:26. And so that's another 10 minutes later. And he's behind the police station. My theory is that he was going straight to the residence and he saw that vehicle pulled over and the officer with those kids. So then he left. And he went back and circled around behind the police station to see if that Ford hybrid vehicle made its way back and was out of the area.
Okay.
And so
oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. The kids that were there,
Mhm.
I know there's a lot of speculation about them. I don't know if any of them were Hunter. I don't remember if them in were Ethan's brother. I know that one of them may have lied about his ID or whatnot, but I don't think it was anything to do with the incident that occurred later. It's possible, but I'm not sure.
I don't know if it was, but it's just the timing and then who it was. And and if that was Ethan, and then, what I'm saying is that we haven't heard anything about that. And then the other part that I thought was odd, and I don't know, because I saw a picture of that Brent guy with his buddy, I guess, that wrote in or something. He had a beard. Now, I don't know if he had a beard at that time or not, but they show a picture of this guy that's the plainclothes, and he looks a lot. He looks to me a lot like Brent.
Right.
Yeah.
I got some of those pictures. I'm actually going to show them here in a second.
Okay.
And so, but first,
the thing about the cop asking.
Hold on, Big Blue has a question. He's gonna say it, and then I'll reframe it. Go ahead, Blue.
I was gonna tell her first thing when the cop asking about how much they drank tonight and everything. Of course, they're trying to get a public intoxication, but they're in a college place. These kids are already probably trained.
You won't hear Blue. He's saying that initially, that was he thinks they were trying to get them for public intoxication, and that's how they were trained.
Yeah.
And so, I'm not sure. I know that there was some kids that were running around in the area. There was supposedly like a loud screech noise around 3-something in the morning. And then you can also see the lights turn off around 3 in the morning from the residents in that video. It is it's weird. It is.
Well, that puts a different timeline on it too, because they're saying the screech may have come from the kid's phone because he was looking at it, and that would have been Hunter.
Interesting. I'd have to go back and relook at that. I'm not. It could be.
Yeah, I tried to really pull up because he's looking at his phone, and they show like what he's looking at, but you really have to go in and really pull it up, and I can't tell. It looks like it's like set up in 4 different things. I know that he's got his ID on there at one point, but then after he's shown it, the guy says, "No, wait here. I want to just because I'm calling it in," and so he shows. So you can see the phone, the face of the phone, while he's just kind of like scrolling through it.
Right.
And so, I don't know. It just seems that was Brent an undercover cop? Or was he just, I don't know. But that
possible.
goes back to the fact that why was he living on a college campus with students?
Right.
Were they doing was he,
probably
force of some sort?
We haven't dug into it much, but he probably was using his.
That's possible. What we're gonna do though is because you can't hear Blue, and he's got some statements. Do you have any other questions? And then we're gonna talk about everything that you had said.
I don't have. Well, I have one other, and this has something just a little bit different. But the thing that's going on here with Bud Light. I was looking at that, and I know it's a different last name, and I'm not saying anything about this transgender thing, but Dylan, and I can't remember the lady's last name or whatever, this person, all these Bud Light people are saying that it's ruining the whole, because that Dylan something,
right.
It's DM. And why would you, and then if you look at it, there's I pulled it up, and one of the pictures is a girl standing in front of the Bud Light, that looks identical to to Dylan, the one in Moscow, with even that scarf on her head. I just Googled it.
I don't personally think there's anything involved there. The Bud Light thing, they've the whole go woke go broke thing, but I don't think there's any connection there. But I want to thank you so much for calling in. We appreciate you so much. Yeah, have a great day. We're going to talk about your conversation here in a sec. Have a good night.
You.
Bye.
You too. Bye.
So, what do you think? Do you think that the folks there, the kids were there, were and what I said by they can't hear blue is the callers won't be able to hear blue.
Yeah.
When you call in, everybody else can hear blue, but the callers can't hear blue. They can only hear me. We're trying to figure out a new situation here. Also, guys, the phone number is different. I heard that people were calling the old phone number, the one that we used to have. It's no longer the same. So yeah, you're not going to be going into this. And so, but somebody said that earlier also, that Kohberger didn't get seen leaving Pullman. Right here it says at 2:44 on November 13, a white sedan, which is consistent with the description as a white Elantra known as Suspect 1, was observed on WSU surveillance cameras traveling north on Southeast Nevada Street on Northeast Stadium Way. At approximately 2:53 a.m., the white sedan, which is consistent with the description of the white Elantra known as Suspect Vehicle 1, was observed traveling southeast on Nevada Street in Pullman towards SR 270. SR 270 connects Pullman, Washington to Moscow, Idaho. And so it's not necessarily saying that they see him leaving, but they are alluding that he's heading out of town towards a direction that is towards the direction that's going towards Moscow. And the phone number is going to be right here, 726-842-0812. I don't have them open yet. We're going to discuss the last caller real quick, and then we'll probably open up the call for a few, maybe maybe three more calls. But to go back, retrospect on everything, my idea as far as what occurred with that that operation that was happening, and thank you, Holly, for becoming a newest member. In my opinion, the most important thing that happened that night when it came to that aspect was the fact that they were in front of the house, which may have been the reason why it took Kohberger a significantly longer time to get to the victim's residence once he's seen leaving towards SR 270, which is the highway that connects to Moscow from Pullman. And I think that also answers why he was in the neighborhood that he was in. Because the neighborhood he was in is west or east, I'm sorry, of the it's east of the neighborhood, the 1122 King Road Ranch neighborhood, right? King Road Ranch. I don't know why I keep saying ranch. King Road. It's like that whole Kim thing. I kept calling her Pam. Once I get it in my head, I can't stop it. So I keep getting in my head King Road Ranch.
It happens. Thank
and
you.
I can't stop saying it.
Real talk with a redhead. Become a member. Thank you.
What do you think about what she said about the Bud Light thing, Blue? I know you take that kind of personal. You like that Bud Light stuff.
I like everything, man. I don't discriminate, but I personally don't care about it. I drink whatever. I'll drink Bud Light still. But for their, like a guy said, your marketing department should have known who drinks your beer.
That's
this
true.
Past quota, which are only talking about the beginning of April to now, they lost over 5 million or billion. I can't remember. It's one of them. Dollars. Because they brought out the wrong ad.
Yeah.
And they're sticking behind it. Okay, that's fine. Your stock tanked. Everything's tanking. And the new, I guess they call it the new woke crowd, doesn't drink Bud Light.
Yeah.
They don't. I mean, if you're really, you should have done maybe a few ads here and there, like everybody else does.
Get a tester.
Yeah, but not. Oh, we're gonna stick to it and lose $5 billion. Yeah, they lost quite a bit of money.
Yeah, they sure did.
And their stock tanked. I mean, it's gonna come back. Everybody's gonna forget after a while, just like they did with Coors.
What did Coors do?
Coors also has ads.
Right. Well, what ad did they do that made them lose that much money?
Not that much money though.
But what ad did they?
You know, they had some where like the mountains turn into rainbow colors and stuff like that. You know,
Right.
Pride Month. You know, and I have a bunch of gay and lesbian friends, so I don't really care. Whatever you like, you like. Whoever you like, you like.
Yeah,
that doesn't bother me.
Yeah, me either, man.
But to their genre demographics of the people that buy their beer, yeah, I mean, I got to party at gay clubs and bars with friends of mine, and none of them drink beer. You know, they all drink liquor.
Yeah.
You know, if somebody wants to jump on the train, it'd be a vodka company or a liquor company. They'd make ton of money if they sponsored more. But Light, your buyers, man. And once you upset them, it's going to be those kind of people that you upset them for a while. It's just like Dallas Cowboy fans.
Yeah.
You upset them, they'll stop buying your stuff for a while.
Sorry, Mikey. All right, so this is the area, and this is what I wanted to talk about. So Pullman, Washington, is west of Moscow, and Kohberger is initially seen out here in a neighborhood east of the residence in where they lived in. And so that bothered me, right? Because he's traveling from east to west, and not only it's possibly he's seen more than once doing that. He's seen here in the Indian Hills Road at 326, and also at 345, he's seen coming in off of this highway 8, from the east to the west, and then turning down towards the resident over here. And so a lot of questions have come up as to, or for me at least, why was he traveling from that direction back eastbound if he was coming from the east to the west? And my opinion is because at 315 there was a couple of officers stopped out here with a couple of kids that were consuming alcohol. Hey, Blue, real quick, since you're pointing at that, there's been some rumors that the Steelers and the Bears are going to trade, and the Steelers are going to go up to that number 9 spot. How would you feel about that?
Man, my Bears suck anyway, so no matter what they trade for, they better get a good quarterback. I mean, that's all I care for, because their quarterback, the guy that they put all the money into, bombed the last 2 seasons.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Yes. And it's the Bears.
The Bears. All right, we're going to take 2 more calls. I'm going to turn this on. Remember, we got a new phone number. It's going to be 726-842-0812. Also, guys, I put our P.O. box down there. If you guys know anybody that's got a brewing company or anything like that, want to send us a drink, and, we'll sponsor one of the shows with their drinks. We'll broadcast it out there and put your information out there. So let us know. Send us a P.O. box.
And this tank drinks everything. Everything. I don't shy away from anything.
No, he doesn't. Tyrone says 199. He goes, seems like he never got out of the car. We got.
Hello. You muted yourself or something.
I'm not muted. Hello?
There you go. There you go.
Hello? Oh, nobody there.
And it's okay, Mikey. All my families are Cowboy fans, so I hear every football season, okay? I hear it every football season, being a Bears fan.
All right. Nobody's answering. I think it's my computer, man.
Somebody put on there that they like Coors Banquet. I almost bought a case of Coors Banquet today. It's one of my favorite beers.
Yeah, try calling in again. I'm having a hard time with this system, and I think it has to do with the storms that are going on in our area. It's messing with the Wi-Fi, I think.
Lana had a family emergency. She'll be back on hopefully Sunday.
Yeah, we're gonna have her back on Sunday. Here it goes. There it is. How's it going, Tyrone? How you doing? Doing good, doing good. Enjoying the show. How are you?
I can't hear him.
Just touch on the old Brian and Brent situation.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right. Now, do you guys feel it kind of funny that they never mentioned that the person that they seen driving his car never got out of the car at all? They just attempted to park and did all this in the car and never got out.
That is kind of, I mean, that is odd. You know, that what that tells me is that he parked probably on the side where, you know what? Let me pull up. I'm gonna just pull up the maps that are in the area real quick.
And he said his name's Tyrone.
Yes, sir.
Tyrone. Okay. The only Tyrone I know is a YouTuber that walks around New York City smacking cigarettes out of people's hands, telling them not to smoke. Is that him?
I doubt it. So let's see right here. So, in my opinion, if you have, man, everything's blurred out. Dang, they've blurred everything out off of Google now. So
Yeah.
if there's that's not gonna work. I can't believe they did that. So if there's a camera back here that picked up the audio, right? If he came in through the back, there definitely wouldn't be able to have seen him. And if he parked if you're looking at the residence from the front on the left side of the house, it would be difficult for those cameras that describe his moments to see him get out. I'm seeing that being a high possibility. But you are right. They don't ever see him get out in the cameras. They just see him kind of driving around. And not to mention, what they don't mention also is the DoorDash car. When did that
Exactly?
arrive?
And that was going to be my next one. They never mentioned the DoorDash, which is very confusing to me because it seemed like they had him a camera pointing somewhere along the house because they said he attempted to park in front of the house. So if they can get that, I was wondering why they couldn't get the DoorDash person getting out, walking up, dropping the food off and stuff like that. And they never stated, was it a leave it at the door delivery or was it a hand it to me delivery?
That's true. Those things aren't stated. The only thing that I've been able to find on it, and I think it was publicly buzzed, they found an article that listed basically that they made contact with the DoorDash person and they cleared them. But they don't bring it up in here, and they don't bring what type of vehicle there is. You know, the only thing that the probable cause affidavit says is that there's not that much travel because of the how closed off it is. That there's a few vehicles that go through there, but they don't talk about the other vehicles that are going through there. That alludes that more than one did pass by, but they circled in or highlighted the white Elantra because it passed by a significant amount of times.
Yeah.
And so
and I was also wondering about because the night of the killings there was a hit and run at Brian's apartment complex. I was wondering if there were any body cam footage of possibly him coming out of the apartment, leaving, getting in his car, or if the police car picked anything up. You know what I mean? That's what I was wondering, but you didn't really hear too much about that neither. And they said the cops was there from like 11:40 at night all the way up until like almost 12 p.m. the next day over that hit and run, and they had everything blocked off.
Right. That's true. You see, when it comes to this case, there was a lot of red flags for Kohberger to commit this crime, right? So you had that hit and run that occurred right in front of his house. Then he gets out here and you have the hybrid vehicle that has the kids pulled over in front of the house. Then you finally get to the house and you have a brand new Range Rover parked in front. And so there's a lot of, in my opinion, there's a lot of red flags here as far as, you know, if he was trying to commit the perfect crime, if that was the motive, so to speak, there was a lot of hurdles to overcome that, in my opinion, if you're analyst to commit the perfect crime, you're not doing it that night. You're rescheduling and rain checking. Now, there's a couple of things that happened that night or that weekend that make me believe that because of that and the fact that he ended up committing this crime, even though those red flags were there, that this was planned well in advance. And so one of the things that a lot of people were saying, or neighbors that were saying about that night, is that it was eerily quiet. Right? We had say that, and a couple of other people, that it was oddly quiet. You can hear things. Now, this was the last home football game for the Vandals, for the University of Idaho football team. And they have a saying out there, win or lose, there's always booze. And so, in my opinion, this was probably going to be one of the more busier, partier nights of the year. And yet it was super quiet. And the reason being is they had police officers working undercover trying to stop underage drinkers in the area. And so that would have put a stop to a lot of these parties. Now, would Kohberger have known that? Would he have known that there wasn't going to be a party out that night? Possibly. You know, his education gave him the opportunity to possibly know that perhaps law enforcement had planned this, and or maybe perhaps if he wasn't one of the guys that was selected to be a intern, so to speak, because I know he had applied for it, maybe he knew of the person that did get that gig, because they would have been in his class criteria. They would have probably been amongst each other and have known each other, and maybe he overheard in talking that night there was going to be this plan to stop underage drinking in that area, thus giving him the knowledge beforehand that it's going to be a quiet night. And when he goes over there at 3:00 in the morning, he's not going to be met with 150 young adults and college students having a good time. And so that might be one of the reasons why he chose that night. The other reasons is the fact that the following weekend, had he waited a following weekend, there would not have been school would have been out for Thanksgiving break, and he had planned to go have a doctor's appointment that week. And so I think that he planned this to go down that week so that he can go back to the university, continue his life as normal, and then go do his doctor's appointment. That way, if Light ever or anybody ever suspected him, he has these things that don't align with what you would expect somebody who committed a violent crime like this to do, if that makes any sense.
No, I definitely get that. And I also want to touch on the latent footprint and just the crime scene in general. It seemed like something was possibly cleaned up. You know what I mean? Like the way they talk about the slayings, it seemed like it was very gruesome, and it's very unfortunate that it happened to them. But it just seemed like with something like that, I feel like we would see more of blood footprints and maybe a lot of blood handprints around. But they said it wasn't really much of that. And then they had to get the latent footprint, which was very weird to me.
Yeah, it was on the second time around, and they had to use amino black to bring it up.
Yeah, that's what we were saying. Like, if it was him and he wasn't
talking about way
prepared, the footprints. I mean, as bloody as they say it should have been, with the amount of stabbings on some of the victims, there should have been footprints, but there ain't any. So either he wore booties and covered up really well, or he cleaned afterwards.
Yeah, I don't think he had enough time to clean, bro. He was in there for about 6-7 minutes. So I don't think if anybody did clean, I don't think it was him. So Big Blue was saying that the fact that there was not so many footprints, that somebody must have cleaned it. Maybe he did. And I was like, no, I don't think so. I don't think he had enough time to do that. Now, he says, go ahead.
Oh, no, I was going to say that, it seemed like from the time frame that they give, it seemed like he was in and out very fast. And that's also that time frame I was thinking about as well, trying to figure out this guy, would he be capable of doing something like that?
Right. Yeah. No, I mean, there's one thing about him that a lot of folks have been, or a lot of things that I've noticed in a lot of his pictures, his hands are extremely red. Now, some folks say that maybe perhaps they're red because the cuffs are too tight. I'm not necessarily sure of that. I think this guy washes his hands religiously. And
I think so as well.
You notice where he's at. He's in jail. He's in a jail cell. It's probably not the most, at least in his mind, the most cleansed area. So I'm sure every time he touches something, he's washing his hands over and over again. You know, everybody talks about how he was wearing gloves to take out trash and stuff. You know, I know some folks who have some germ phobia things, including myself. I'm going to throw myself under the bus here. When I have several dogs, and when I got to go clean up their dog crap and put it in a bag and then take that bag from the backyard to the front yard, and it stank like crap because I got big dogs. I got XL bullies. And so,
they're the big boys.
Yeah. My baby, his name is Pretty Boy Floyd. He's about he's what, 14 months. He's a tri-merle XL bully, about 135 pounds. And so he's a big boy. And I got his brother too. His brother's a little bit smaller than him, but he's still looks like a mastiff. And so when I go and pick all that crap up and take it to the front, especially if it's been raining and stuff, I'm wearing some latex gloves myself. And so,
absolutely,
you know, I just don't want to get dog crap on my hands.
Exactly.
It is what it is. And so, you know, him dealing with trash and things like that, if he is OCD, which it kind of sounds like, I mean, we saw an article earlier today that said that he was up all night cleaning all the time. And so,
that was the norm for him.
Right, exactly. And so, and you know what? I'll show you guys what Floyd looks like before we leave. I know somebody just commented best dogs ever.
Absolutely.
Yeah. In my opinion, those things kind of lead me to believe that maybe perhaps Kohberger, if involved, maybe didn't get his hands as dirty. The fact also is that absolutely no one, none of the classmates, the doctor, the the barber who cut his hair that week has come up and said that they saw scratches, cuts, bruises, or any indication of an altercation from him.
Exactly. He went to a physical right after, and they said nothing was on him.
Yeah, and so go ahead.
Oh, and I really didn't want to touch on the Brent Kopacka too much, but I wanted to say what I thought was weird about the Brent Kopacka.
Oh, did it cut off again?
Yeah, no, you're right. It does. There's some weird things about that. Like, you know, I mean, how many? What's that? Hold on. What's up, Big Boo?
His call cut out where we couldn't hear it.
Oh,
when he started talking
about
Brent Kopacka, it cut off, so none of us know what he said.
Oh, okay. Yeah, sorry. I accidentally pulled that off there. What he said was that nobody's talked about him. Nobody's brought up that situation. And what I was saying is, you know, we've had several incidences where we've had some shootings that have occurred here recently. And how soon are those body cam footages out? Why hasn't this one been released? Why is this one on such lockdown? You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. Yep.
Well, thank you so much, Tyrone, for calling in, man. We appreciate it. Do you have any other questions for us?
No, that'd be it, man. If you guys ever go live again, if I could think of anything, just try to call in next time.
For sure. We go live Monday, Wednesdays, and Friday nights. Thank you so much. We appreciate you.
Right.
And about Brent, you know, we didn't talk much about Brent in the beginning because we didn't really know much about his story. We still don't know a lot about him. Everything's still covered. And so we never talked about much because we like to talk about the information that we get. So we don't want to discredit anybody's name. So that's how we don't put his name out there too much, because we don't want to discredit his name because we don't know exactly what happened yet.
Nah, man, you're absolutely right. And when it comes to Kopacka, now I got some images that came in, and I'm glad you brought that up so we can kind of look at that. I think we're going to put the phones down, y'all. We're going to be approaching 2 hours, so we're going to be ending this here pretty soon. I appreciate everybody that called in.
Yeah, If you're not subscribed, at least subscribe, guys. We're trying to get up there. We're trying to get to 50K. That's our next goal.
Yeah, our next goal is 50K. Then we're trying to get that silver play button. So help us out by hitting that subscribe button. So this is Bryan Kohberger. This is one of the images that they were talking about. This image was kind of weird. Having a drink with Brent, I put his machete in the stool so no one can sit in it. Ha ha ha. Goddamn, I effing miss you. I know you hated it when I said GD. I don't want to say that myself. I probably why I say it too much because I'm a dick. Haha, love you, dude. So this is his machete, according to this guy. It's a pretty stout knife. And so, I don't know. I'm not sure. What do you think, Big Blue?
I don't know what the circumstances. Haven't seen no body cam footage. I haven't seen any of the so-called roommates he's tried to murder. So until all that comes out, then I can talk. I don't want to be. I mean, I love being in the Washington Post, especially since they use my real name. I didn't give them my real name. I mean, I kind of did, but I gave them Big Blue as my name, and
they threw you under the bus, Blue.
They did, man. They did. And that girl did her interview in a closet. That's all I got to say.
So this is my boy. This is Pretty Boy Floyd. This is when he was like 11 or 13 months. I can't remember. This was a couple months ago. So he's gotten quite a bit bigger since this.
Hey, y'all. Meet my boy, BMK's Pretty Boy Floyd. He's 11 months old. About 110 pounds. APKC, ARC global. He'll be turning 1 on New Year's Day. Let us know what you think.
That's my boy, good old Pretty Boy Floyd. Crazy thing about him is this guy, he's a New Year's baby. He was born January 1st of last year. Let's see. I'll show you these. This is him. That's my boy. So y'all come to my house, you'll be meted by him. He has a loud bark. That's all I got to say about him. He's not mean, but he's a big boy. He's probably about 130 pounds now. At that time, he was probably about 105, 110. So he's gotten wide. If you guys want to check out more of him, I actually have a Facebook page for him, and it's called Bully Mob Kennel. It's on Facebook. And so, yeah, that's my boy. He's a Tri-Merle XL bully. And yes, that is AstroTurf. Thank you for noticing. And, I have 5 dogs. Hey, Blue, you're muted. I have 5 dogs. The grass wasn't working until I put in the turf.
Yeah, it was by one of our early sponsors, right?
Yeah. We still have their shirts, Space Ace, Next Level. Was it Next Level? Man, what's the landscaping? There you go. Next Level Landscaping out in San Antonio, Texas. They sponsored a couple of the shows. They gave me a pretty good deal on the turf. If you're in the San Antonio, Austin, Texas area, hit me up if you want some turf. They'll give you a good deal on it. But yeah, that's my boy. He's happy, and he's a good dog. He's a little needy sometimes when it comes to me. He doesn't leave me alone, but I love him. Yeah, he's probably a big boy too. Love him so much. Yes, Jen, he's a big boy. You'd be surprised. A lot of people, they see their videos and they see the pictures and they're like, all right, and then you go see him in person and he jumps up and he'll look at you eye to eye when he's standing up. He's a big boy.
Yeah. They're beautiful dogs. Beautiful dogs.
Yeah, thank you, Blue. Thank you. Yeah, Blue's seen all of my dogs before. They've all came up to him and have introduced themselves to him.
And I have not been bitten by any of them yet. So.
Just by Jaime. Yeah. I could say that because he's not here. Take that, Jaime. Let's see. Really, does he? That's awesome. This gentleman here who did ours, they did a really good job. They tore up everything that we had back there. Then they threw in like sand, dirt, and all this other stuff. Packed it real good. Threw a lot of stuff, and they did a really good job for my yard with this. I truly appreciate everything that they did. But Blue, we're at 2 hours. I think it's time to call it a show. Do you have any final words?
Yeah, I just want to say one last thing before we jump off. Later on, maybe next week, we'll do a case that I'm kind of interested in. It's a Fernanda Riz Fort Hood soldier that unalived herself. There's a big mystery about it. It happened about 5 weeks ago now.
Yeah.
Her case has not really been spoken a lot about. I think I've only seen like 4 or 5 reports on it, and it's a pretty sad story. I found it on the Spanish channel before I found it on the English channel because her mom traveled to Mexico and took her ashes, and they buried her in Mexico where her family's from. But it was a lot of stuff that kind of connects to the Vanessa Gillian story.
Yeah.
We did a story on her on our channel too. So I think we're going to probably do a show on her, hopefully, and get a little bit more info on her because it's also the same thing. She reported sexual assault, and then a couple weeks later, she was found unalived in her dorm room. So
yeah,
her parents say that's not her. It's not what she would do. So it's a crazy story, and hopefully we get in there and find a little bit of truth on there.
For sure. We're going to be covering that. We have actually a couple of other cases too that we're going to be covering. We have one, I believe, I'm bad at names, y'all. Amy Halleck. We have her best friend. She was her life, I believe it was taken or she was missing several years ago when she was 10 years old. We're going to be covering that one. And then I had another person reach out to me who told me that when she was 10, her older sister, by only a few years, life was brutally taken by a similar fashion that the Idaho 4 case was taken, and that one's an unsolved issue as well. So we're going to be bringing light. It has nothing to do with Kohberger. This, not saying that. I'm just saying it was used a knife, trying not to get us taken off the air by being too descriptive with that. And so, but yeah, a lot of folks are asking about Lana. She had an emergency, so she had to reschedule. We're going to be going back on Sunday, so make sure you ring that notification bell, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, so you're notified about when we go on that live and when we do our other shows. I appreciate everybody that was here. You know how we end it, y'all. We tell you drinking, but we don't want you listening to drunks. We're the drunk.